Living life on the road where dreams take flight. In our motorhome under stars so bright. With our dogs by our side in a world left to roam. Finding adventure wherever we call home.
Welcome back to our next video. This time we want to share our latest updates with you as we get ready to go on our off-grid adventures. In January we took Monty our motorhome to see Harry at Lakeside Leisure. He's based on the Warwickshire-Leicestershire borders. We are so pleased with the job that he has done. He's done a brilliant job and it's so neat and tidy. So we want you to join with us as we walk you through all our latest updates.
The Series 4 Bailey Autograph comes with wet central heating, Aldi wet central heating, just like you have in your house. You have a control panel up here on the wall, and the control panel controls all the temperature and your energy, so you can switch it up or switch it down if you want to go on 2 kilowatt or if you want to just put it down onto low. The Aldi central heating is really good. But it's very background heating and it takes a very long time to really get going and to get the whole of the van warm. In addition to that, when you're on grid, it runs on the electric, which is perfectly fine. But when you're off grid, you have to switch it over to gas. In cold weather, it's really thirsty on gas and you can get through a lot of gas very quickly. We're trying to set up our van to be completely off grid, and our plan in the future is that we want to take it to Norway and Scandinavia and do some really cold countries. So we need to have the heating sorted. So our decision was made to, in addition to the Aldi central heating, to have put on a diesel heater. And that's what we're going to show you right now, because it's been completed and the van is just one step closer, ready for our adventures. So we made the decision to go for the Autoterm 4 kilowatt diesel heater. It takes the diesel straight from the tank, so there's no additional diesel tank that's required. The 3 kilowatt or the 4 kilowatt are the most common air blown heaters that there are. We decided to go for the 4 kilowatt because of the size of this van and the speed we wanted it to get up and running. So the plan is, when we arrive on site and it's cold, we'll switch the diesel heater on, switch the Aldi heater on at the same time, let the two run together. By the time the diesel heater's got itself up nice and toasty and cozy, we could switch over to the Aldi if we wish to, or if we're completely off grid, we can then just leave it running on the diesel heater. And I have to say, it is incredibly effective. The Autoterm diesel heaters are made in Latvia actually, and originally apparently they were made for the Russian military. We won't hold that against them, but it does show that they know a thing or two about cold weather and how to get things nice and warm quickly. So the location of our heater where we've had it installed is just behind the driver's seat on the passenger seats, at the bench seats at the back. The vent grill is down here, which is where the hot air comes out of, and the unit is located behind here. So let's take it apart and let's have a look, and we'll show you where it all is and what it looks like inside. So bear with me while I just dismantle the cushions. Obviously this is something you don't have to do very often, but it will give you an idea. So we take the cushions off and we fold this little flap over, and then we open the top, and here we have access to the unit. So the Autoterm heater is in there, that's all it is. So here's the specification of the heater, in case anyone's interested. It's the Autoterm Air 4D, 4 kilowatt power rating, 12 volt, because our systems here are 12 volt. The box at the back actually allows a vent grill on the back as well, so the intake is down the side here, so that it sucks the air into there, passes it through the heating element, and then blows it out at the front. Of course, in order to control the heater, you have to have a control panel. And when we were originally thinking about having this installed, we were thinking the control panel will go somewhere around the heater. But actually what Harry's done is an incredible job, and he's routed the cabling to the control panel from the heater unit inside here, along under the floor, and then it comes up the side here, and then through into the cupboard, all the way through, and then he's mounted the control panel just on the side here, which is next to the main control panels. A really, really tidy, smart job. So let's show you how the controller works. I'm by no means an expert on the Autoterm control panel, and there are some excellent videos out there already on YouTube that show how it works, but let's give you a quick whistle-stop tour of the control panel. So here's the panel. It's in sleep mode. It's always live, so it's ready to go at any point. It's not linked to the 12-volt switches on the van. So to wake it up, all we have to do is press the center button and the panel wakes up. You can see at the top it's got the time, the voltage of the batteries, and also the current temperature here at the panel. In order to go into heating mode then into the various settings, if I press the center button one more time, immediately it comes up into the heating setting. I move on from heating to ventilation, which is simply blowing cold air. And then you have your settings option, and then you have timers, which is where you will be changing any timers if you want to set it to come on and off at various times during the day. So back onto the heating mode, and when you select heating using the center button, you've got various heating options. First of all, you can go into temperature mode, which is where the fan and the heating element will stay at a certain temperature that you set it at. Power mode means that you will set the various power bar that you want, so you can have it on full power, and there's a little bar graph with 10 different settings, and it will stay on that power regardless of any temperature. Heat plus ventilation means that it will go up to the set temperature that you have set it at, and then when it reaches that temperature or thereabouts, it will blow cold air until it reduces, and then it will go back up on the heating and so on and so forth. And thermostat mode means that it will stay on the heating temperature that you have set, and when it reaches a certain tolerance within that temperature, it will then shut down the whole system until it drops, and then it will start it back up again. So we're going to go into power mode to show you, and you select the button, and there you can see which power you wish to use. To start it up, all you've got to do is press the center button again, and you'll see the red lights come around the LEDs that show the heater is on, and you can then set for how long you want that heater to stay on for. 30 minutes, 40 and so on, and you can go right up to infinity, so it stays on forever until you turn it off. Somebody on our Facebook page asked about the volume and the sound of the heater. I mean, of course, all blown air heaters have a certain amount of volume and sound because of the fan that blows the heat out by definition. This is now currently on full speed. It's on full power, as you can see from the control panel. We've got all the bars of power on it. And so the fan is running at full pelt. So yeah, it's a little bit noisy. Not too bad, I don't think. But the key thing to remember is that the fan is so super efficient that at this speed and at this power, it takes probably less than 5 minutes to heat up the entire van to a decent temperature. Once the van is up to the temperature that you want, you can then go back to the control panel, and instead of having it in full power, you can turn it right the way down to however you want it. Perhaps 1 or 2 bars will be enough just to really keep the ambient temperature in the background. And you can hear that having turned the dial down and the power level down, the fan is reducing its speed until it's just a background hum. And there you have it. The power is now down to just 1 or 2 bars, just keeping the van nice and warm in the background. It's a lovely warm van, and the fan has reduced. And I don't even know whether you can hear it over the top of me speaking. And here's the exhaust. So obviously it has to vent the exhaust from the diesel burner outside. So you always get a little hum. I find that quite comforting and reassuring to hear that hum. And the exhaust pipe just down here is venting the exhaust overboard and outside. The Bailey Autograph comes as standard with 2 95 amp hour AGM batteries. It's designed for off-grid, so there were 2 embedded in the floor. We wanted to upgrade those to lithium. It's a little bit disappointing that Bailey don't offer that actually as an option, but we've had it done anyway. We had lithium on Cuthbert the camper van before we got Monty the Motorhome, and it was genuinely a game changer. With AGM or wet cell batteries, they don't operate very effectively, so out of that 95 amp hour you really only get 50, 60% at best out of that. With lithium batteries, you get 100%. So you get everything. So we've had it updated and upgraded to two 180 amp lithium batteries, giving us a total of 360 amps that we can use. So let's have a look at them. So very cleverly and easily accessible, the batteries are under the floor. We have to take the rugs and the carpets up, and we use sticky tape on our rugs. We'll talk more about that in a video later, just to hold them in place, stop the dogs from moving them around. But under the floor, if we roll it back, we can see we've got two battery compartments, both exactly the same. If we just pull this open here and then lift it open, you can see. So we've got off-grid Titan batteries, 180, as I say, 180 amp hour each, and they're Bluetooth enabled. So we'll have a look at the app in a moment. There's one under there, and then the second one is under here. There you go. They have heaters, built-in heaters, because lithium batteries don't operate very well at cold temperatures. So they have their own heaters built in to maintain their temperature and keep them at the right temperature to make sure they work all year round. If anyone's considering having a lithium upgrade on this particular model, do obviously bear in mind that the cases that they fit in is a limited size. So you have to make sure that the lithium batteries do actually fit in that space. I can assure you that the Titan off-grid lithium batteries from Roadpro, and these are the low case. So there's two different types, but as long as you get the low case, which I'm guessing means smaller battery box, then they fit in, as you can see, absolutely perfectly with no problems at all. I mentioned that the batteries that we've got are Bluetooth enabled, so you can control it off of an app on your phone. So let's take a quick look at that app. Here's the two batteries. When you go into the app, you simply switch both of the batteries on. If it's going to go, there we are. And then you can click on monitor down the bottom, and it calls up. They're in parallel, so we click on parallel connection, and there we go. So it tells us that currently these two batteries are at 99%. It's telling us what the temperature is of the batteries. It's telling us the power discharge. And it tells us that up the top here, which is quite clever, that at the current rate of discharge, we have 36.19 hours remaining. We've got a 200 watt solar panel on the roof as well, so that should be charging it back up. It made sense that while we were having the lithium batteries put on, we also had an inverter put on as well. We're going to do a separate video about 12 volt and 240 volt systems and how they work on leisure vehicles. But in a nutshell, your systems by standard on a vehicle are only 12 volt, and you can only use the 240 volt if you're plugged in to a main socket, or you have an inverter that will convert or invert the 12 volt power into 240 volt power. So that's what we had put on. So on the opposite side to the diesel heater under the bench, let's have a little look. There we are. So under here, this is the bed that pulls out. If you wanted a guest bed or have visitors, you can pull this out into another big double bed. But under here, they've put in for us, Harry has put in for us from Lakeside Leisure, this inverter. Now we've gone for the 3 kilowatt inverter. That's well above anything that we need. It's seriously overpowered, to be fair. We could have got away with a 2 kilowatt, but we just thought, let's never be undersold and let's make sure we've got everything we need. So the 3 kilowatt inverter is mounted along the side here. There's also a priority switch down the side. That automatically switches over from your 240 volt landline to the inverter so that you don't end up blowing things sky high. And then this side here, we've had to have a new battery charger put in for the DC to DC system for the lithium, and genius, look at this. I mean, the quality of Lakeside Leisure, little hatch here that lifts up so we can access it that Harry's put in for us. So here's your battery charger, and it controls the solar. So we've got solar input going in as well. Very little solar input today, but we've got solar input going in from the solar panel on the roof. The lights tell you the status, and you've also got the charge from your engine alternator, and you've got charge from when you're hooked up on landline, and a beautiful little switch for your shunts down the side here and your fuses. To turn the inverter on or off, Harry's put in a little switch down the side here. Simple push button switch. Push it on. There you go. The inverter's on. We're now running on 240 volt power, but the hookup, the mains lead, is not switched on.
We hope you've enjoyed our latest video. We're now looking forward to testing out the off-grid capabilities of Monty. Will the heating work? Will the power last? Join us next time as we journey to Wales to find out.
Living life on the road, where dreams take flight, in our motorhome under stars so bright, with our dogs by our side, in a world left to roam, finding adventure wherever we call home. From narrow boat canals to the ocean's wide embrace, we're retired and roaming, finding our place together on cruise ships where horizons meet. Every journey's a memory, every voyage unique. With laughter and love in the open air, every dawn is a promise, every sunset we share. Our home is where the wheels, waves or winds may steer. Retired and roaming, a life we hold